All right, we are live. And so looking to connect a little bit. Let me make sure, rotate device. I don't want to rotate the device. Let me see what the angle looks like. Give it a second. Want to connect for a late night stream. Let's see if it's working or not. And so it is live, but I am sideways. Not the particular angle I was looking for. Let me straighten it this way. Lost my connecting. You're live. All right, so it says I'm live now. And let me. It's been a while since I've done a late night live chat from the couch, but I'll give it a second. Wanted to connect, check in, and just get your guys' thoughts. So I've had a chance to glance at a lot of news stories, saw some video footage of some rockets in the air, and after watching that video footage, it kind of left me questioning a lot of things. And so questioning, it just seems quite odd that Iran has decided to retaliate and to have sent. I saw a Zero Hedge article that says sent tens of missiles into Iraq from Iran, and they attacked some military bases. And so, just seems very suspicious. So I'm questioning everything I'm hearing right now from the mainstream news. And so as of right now, it's 11:28, so it's about 7:20 in Iraq right now. They're 8 hours ahead, and so it's one of the things. Let me see: live chat, super chat, none, high chat. I got too much stuff on the screen. Can't see myself. Get out of here with this. How do I? Man, trying. It's been a while since I've live stream from the phone, live chat, super chat, top chat, none, hide all chat messages. Sure, hide all. All right, bet. So you're still there. But okay, that being the case. So I wanted to check in. And so late night, I figure it's better, it's easier to just sit on the couch, pop the phone up, and go back and forth a little bit. So that being the case, I'm curious to find out what you guys think. Is this whole Iran retaliation, is this the real deal, or is this, as they say, the two F's false flag event? Because everything is too timely. And so I'm just questioning a lot of things personally. So I'm curious to find out what you guys think. And so won't be on long tonight, but I wanted to check in. So as I'm talking, I'm looking at the messaging on my phone. So let me see here. So we got the Spirit King. So you're sideways, yeah. Sorry. So we got Rhonda, we got Tom, we got Gregory. Greetings. We got eBay addicts. Can't sleep either, Mike. Yeah. So that's another thing. I was, I just been really thinking about the fact that possibly it's possible that we can wake up. If you're on the East Coast, we could wake up to a whole new world of just complete chaos and pandemonium. So already the futures. I saw something about the equities futures has already dropped significantly, and I think gold prices has taken a little bit of a bid, and so the markets tomorrow when they open up here in America can be very and that's the thing, like it's one of the things where you want to see asset prices that have been undervalued go up, but then again, you don't want them to go up because of these type of conditions where it's because of war. So technically, the fact that some missiles were in the air tonight, we are officially at war, and it just does this will not end well. There's no way this can end well, especially when we have. Okay, so this is another. Just have a little open conversation tonight. I'm curious to find out what you think. The phone line 313-462-0027. Give me a call. I should be able to get your voice on here. But I'm watching some commentators, and what I'm hearing is President Trump. He ran on bringing troops home. He ran on no war. He ran on no foreign entanglement. Why are we interfering in so many other places? And so all of a sudden now, you know, he's more than willing to be the head honcho, proving that the U.S. is unstoppable according to him, and that we have all this military might. And I question all that as well. I have no, I'm not confident that the military equipment we have is actually up to par, given the fact that I've talked about over the years all the technology, supersonic this and that, and hypersonic, all those stuff that comes out of China and Russia. And I don't think we got anything that's like past. I'm not. Don't quote me, but we don't have anything like past Mach 2 or Mach 3, and they on Mach 5, Mach 6 type speeds. Anyway, but just a lot of things on my mind. So I wanted to just connect, find out what you guys think. I'm not buying this missiles being launched from Iran to Iraq because think about this: if Iran did send some missiles towards two military bases in Iraq, from the time they were fired, supposedly in Iran, I question if they actually came from Iran. So I'm about to go completely off the cuff here as far as me not really believing anything that I'm hearing from the mainstream news because everything is too timely. Everything is positioned right on time, it seems. And so, with the deployment of thousands of troops, I was reading on Zero Hedge earlier how a couple people Reuters was able to interview a couple military officers or whatnot, and they were actually given their story within the last 48 hours of how they were driving home in the car and all of a sudden got a message from the sergeant saying, "Turn around, we're deploying," or something like that. And just all the stories that were coming out, it just seems like, man, this is all a strategically planned event. And so I'm trying to wrap my fingers around as to why. And of course, we know the U.S. loves war. War is very profitable. You know, whenever a missile fires in the air, somebody made money. Unfortunately, along with that missile that went up in the air, a lot of people will more than likely lose their lives. And so, just the fact that there's apparently missiles that hit the ground in Iraq on two military bases, to me, I don't buy it. Apart from the fact I saw some video footage of missiles, but once again, I don't really, if you're Iran and you just lost your general, you just lost your number two guy, the first thing you're going to do is to deliberately play into the hands of a president who said, basically, if you attack us, if you threaten us, if you breathe towards America the wrong way, we come in full force. And what made it even worse is the president talked about hitting cultural sites. At what point does war become some some parts of war has to be off limits? Like the fact that you can't send military missiles into a public park where there's kids and families. Like, come on now. So I'm just, yeah. And this has me really concerned. I'm not sure about you, but I'm really concerned because once again, in 8 hours, they're 8 hours ahead right now. So in Iraq and Iran, people are just getting up or been up already. And there's probably alarm sirens going off in Iraq right now. There's concern of war. Not only did the U.S. get expelled by the parliament, so technically speaking, we're supposed to be getting booted up out of there, like right now. And so if we don't leave, then there's going to be some issues with Iraq. So imagine the Iraqi forces turning against the U.S. So not only we have Iraq military, whatever they have over there, attempting to displace the U.S. forces because they want them out anyway, and then you got Iran next door, and then you can't say all the other nations are just going to sit around and watch. So it's going to turn into a big us against them, or yeah, us against them against us, and it's going to make America look really, really bad. We already really look really, really bad right now. The world clearly is not buying into this Trump narrative of making America great again. Like, what does Iran have to do with making America great again? So all that right there. So all that goes out the window. All the stuff he ran upon campaign wise. If he decides to retaliate again, which I'm assuming any minute now we're going to hear some reports out of something saying that, Trump gave the order to go full steam ahead. And, Iran has always threatened Israel. And so the likelihood of Iran knowing that they probably can't truly beat us face to face, one on one, man to man, country to country, because they're over there, we're over here, technology wise, they may not be able to send anything directly here. Apart from hearing several stories on Zero Hedge primarily, another source, take it for what it's worth. But I've always believed that there's always been, as they say, sleeper cells in the U.S. So any minute now, God forbid, there could be some type of event happening on the homeland where something goes off, something happens, and then all of a sudden Iran takes credit for it, and then out that right there is all out bombardment of just bombs. It's gonna be so much firecrackers in the air, possibly in the next 24 to 48 hours, that once the missiles go up in the air, there's no coming back. It's just like I never understood when people shoot guns in the air. The bullets have to come down. Like when the missiles come down, they're gonna come down, and there's gonna be my greatest concern, like always when it comes to war, is that there's always more casualties, innocent casualties in our typically actual soldiers. So I'm ranting too much. Let me get to your thoughts in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. Is this was the missiles that were sent to Iraq military U.S. military base? Was it truly from Iran? Do you think, or was this something deliberately that's been thrown out there to give a reason why the thousands of troops that have been sent are going in there full steam ahead? And so it says Ukraine plane just crashed in Tehran. Yeah, I just saw that. So a Ukrainian plane, a Boeing 737, just crashed in Iran, and I'm not quite sure why that was. And so, missed a call. Forgive me. Give me a call back. I got too many computers on. Um. So yeah. So what's up with that? So I hope it wasn't shot down, but I'm assuming it's some technical difficulties or something like that. Not sure. It says no casualties is a warning. The U.S. should not be in Iraq. Adma Dirt, I believe that 100%. It says situation is escalating very so much. Very true, G man. It says a quote's come to my mind. I haven't had a piece of pie like this since the Garden of Eden. Okay, Rethinking the Dollar. And Iranians say they won't continue unless the U.S. retaliates. And so, Spirit, well, that's another thing. So, if they really sent something towards the military bases in Iraq, here's the biggest question: like, what were they really trying to accomplish? If Iran did really send those missiles to those two locations outside of a attack in Kenya, some Americans died or something like that. I heard. What were they trying to achieve by sending a couple dozen missiles to a base where clearly, if you send in those missiles, they were probably they just from the pictures I saw, they looked to be some old, super slow missiles. So everybody and their mother, I'm assuming on that base, if it was people actually on that base waiting, like sitting there, they had more than enough warning to clear things out. You know, look up in the sky and you see light. So it's just all that stuff is questionable right now. So I'm not going for none of it. But it's one of the things where, apart from me just sharing my opinion, I'm curious to see what you guys think because I'm curious, and this is a question I'm gonna throw out there because right at this point, we have nothing to lose. We're at a point where there's no going back. All right, we got a call. Let's see what we can do. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's Kevin from Sarasota.
Kevin from Sarasota. How you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Appreciate you calling. What's on your mind? What do you think about this missile attack? Is this real or no?
Uh, man, all right. I don't want to say if it's real or not because it appears to be, out there in the ether. So the people are going to do what they want to do with it. But my question is, all right, let's go ahead and just get back to basics. If our military did not go any further than 100 miles off of our shore, would this be a problem?
Right. It would not be a true concern to us as much, apart from the fact you're forgetting one factor that the current reserve currency belongs to us, and the entire world is expected to use it or else. And so, if we were not 100 miles off our coast, it's good to say that nobody would really be incentivized to use a national currency from a country that is heavily indebted. So they might have removed the petrodollar a couple decades ago. So that's a major factor as to why we're scattered all over the planet, like we're protecting somebody, but really we're defending our role as reserve currency and much else. So
So if we were not the reserve currency, the petrodollar, exactly. Um, so should it just be done for? Like no more petrodollars? Should the world no longer accept dollars for oil?
um, unfortunately, everything has to come to an end at some point. Now, I think the reason why it's being sped up or it's increasing where more nations are dumping the dollar is because of they're witnessing what we're doing to them with sanctions, and if you don't abide by our rules, they'll slap sanctions on you. And then if you decide to do anything outside of the Federal Reserve note, you're considered a enemy to us. Therefore, there's going to be some type of regime change. That's what it seemed like every time somebody's mentioned about removing their nation off of the dependency on the dollar and in connection to oil. that person didn't really last too much longer. So Iran is apparently the last country that the U.S. has not been able to heavily influence. Sanctions have not really kept them from doing transactions with China and Russia in the ruble and the yuan. So it's unfortunate that the dollar is the key root of all of this. I believe at the end of the day.
All right, so I'm a big proponent for precious metals, and I personally am into silver because that's what I can afford. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about what silver, the value of silver, and if the S hits the fan, and silver becomes, let's just say, $600 an ounce, and that would basically mean that a loaf of bread is what, $90 to $100. Um, so I guess the end game is what would have to happen? Would the value of silver have to go back down to the 30 cents an ounce for the currency dollar manipulation to become something that we can all use if we have silver? Or would everything have to go up, and then just a few people who have, like I say, I have several dozens of ounces of silver. Does that mean I'm a millionaire? I mean, so what's the end game here with silver is my question.
Great
Should it
question.
be back down to 1930s levels or up to now?
Well, at this current point, it's too late to go back as far as how we price or how we give a dollar amount towards an ounce of anything, because the monetary base has been expanded so large, and the debts that are all the debts that are owed, whether it's corporate debt, household debt, is so large that every single thing we price it in the form of dollars has to be accounted for in return in regards to the actual price of a metal. So metals, how many ever billions of ounces above ground total right now, and then you got all those paper and digital illusions, but there's more digital illusions than anything else. There has to be a day of correction or reckoning for that. So ultimately, what's going to happen, kind of like in Weimar Germany, the government inflated the currency to the point where it was worthless, and then at that point they had to start over. And so difference is now everything is digital. So it could be easier to start over because whatever they're going to give us is going to be digital based, because they can't put handcuffs on themselves by issuing paper again, or trying to peg it to the gold, trying to peg something to gold or silver, because that puts handcuffs on them. So whatever's going to be rolled out will be digital based, and it will just be redenominated, reallocated into whatever the price mechanisms will be or whatever the standard will be. But of course, being a millionaire in gold and silver may not necessarily be a good thing if everything around you costs $1 million. But
Yeah, exactly.
but watch this: an ounce of gold might be $1 billion, and something like your loaf of bread might be 1 million. So just in comparison to how Venezuela is, how crazy it is, where an ounce of gold is 99 million bolivars or something like that, where a cup of coffee is like 20,000 bolivars, something crazy, where there's still a big gap between how many pieces of paper will get you 1 ounce as opposed to your everyday needs. So those are extremely high, but that metal will far outseed in nominal terms anything that you can get in paper form. Because to be honest with you, you wouldn't even want the paper. So you're going to want to do transactions directly with people who have what you need. So if you got a service or a skill, it'd be easy for me to give you a 1 gram silver bar. It'll probably be $100 or whatever. But if you recognize the value in it, then you'll deliver the service or give me cans of goods or whatever. So that's going to be an option as well until there's some type of normalcy in our system, which could be quick, could be long. Who knows? I don't know.
Wow, so I mean that literally sounds to me like toilet paper will be worth the most valuable piece that you can have because it's all proportional
Yeah,
to the worthless dollar.
it will be useful because everybody has to wipe with something. You got to wipe it. You got to wipe your rear end with something. So in
I
Venezuela,
know,
you can wipe it. So
right?
now the problem is
Uh,
everybody in this current paradigm still believes that what they're working for in the form of their paycheck is the end and be all of everything. Where as they monetize more, create more reserves, and inflate the monetary base, that currency becomes worth less. So, in this next decade, I believe there's going to be a mass rush for people to try to get out of those digital units of nothing and worthless paper notes, even though the paper is going to be worth something to the very end, because that's something we tangibly can still hold, and people would accept that until they realize it is the problem, which majority of people won't realize that the currency itself is the problem. They're going to blame the government, the vendors, and supermarket people. They're going to blame everybody, but the fact is the currency they're using. So, but hey, my man, I appreciate you calling and going back and forth with me. Thanks for the questions and the thoughts as well.
Yeah, man. I hope your audience enjoys the toilet paper reference there because that's exactly what fiat currency is.
It's
Good night,
unfortunate.
Mike.
All
Thank
right,
you.
have a good one. Thanks.
Later.
Great call there. Appreciate the call. Appreciate the call. I saw a super chat in there as well. Thank you for that. Love offering to the channel. Let me see who that is. Let me see. Nothing popped up. Okay, we got Pay Me Money Bag says, thank you for helping. Thank you for being helpful to everyone's community. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for that. And so, another call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Rethinking the Dollar. This is Typo from Massachusetts. How are you?
I'm doing good. Typo from Massachusetts. What's on your mind tonight?
I'm pretty prepared over here in Massachusetts, and but I was thinking I'm gonna go down to some paper towels and some toilet paper tomorrow, and I was just wondering, do you think that people will actually take action, and we're going to see people hit the stores, or do you think they're so oblivious they won't even take action now?
I don't think
I'm
people.
gonna go so I can listen to your answer.
Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
Take out.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Typo. I'll get to your question in a second.
Oh, yeah. Mike, this is James from Cleveland, Ohio, bud.
Jay from Cleveland. How you doing, my friend? Thanks for calling in.
Pretty good. Good. Hey, I probably first time ever jumped on this thing. I see a lot, on your website, podcasts and stuff. But hey, what do you think about? They got a plane that crashed.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying technical issues.
Mm-hmm.
We have a base that's in the Middle East. It's not guarded by any Patriot missile system. No defense. Doesn't that strike you as a little odd?
Extremely odd. I'm glad you mentioned that because that's something that I didn't even think about. So, yeah. So I would assume that knowing that region is really hot right now, and even before that, why wouldn't we have those bases guarded to protect our property, the things that we're trying to, have them pay us for if we move out of there? Why wouldn't they be protecting that with some type of missile defense system? So that is a great question. So that plays even more to the idea that this is not what it's cracked up to be on the surface. Would you? So it sounds like you agree with me, huh?
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
It's just little things. Little things add up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do. They do that. You brought up a great point. So that's
billions of dollars in infrastructure and military bases, and you don't guard it with something. I mean, doesn't that sound a little screwy to people?
Yeah.
I asked this thing on Twitter to people, and people just, well, who knows? Who knows? You're the largest military in the world, and you don't protect your bases. I mean, that sounds kind of foolish to me.
Right, and then on the other note, when you mentioned protecting your bases, the defense systems, I'm thinking like I believe that Iran has the S-400 Russian missile defense system, which, from what I've been hearing, what every nation wanting to get their hands on that might be the top of the line defense system. So, if the U.S. decides to send something towards Iran, I'd be willing to bet they're gonna have the missile system up and working. To where how effective will our military attacks be according to the way that we used to do things by just sending it from a ship sometimes. So, yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
That is a good
Here's
point.
another. Who goes on Twitter and sends "all is well," blah blah blah?
I did see that. I think I heard a comment about that, but maybe his account was hacked. Maybe the account was hacked. I don't know.
Well, he sends a tweet at "all is well." I mean, you could look it up later.
Uh-huh.
But you're the president of the United States. You just had an altercation with another country, and you tweet "all is well."
Yeah. So once again, he ran upon bringing troops home and all the other good stuff, and more troops has gone out since he's been in office than has come home, I think. So let me ask you a question. Do you think, and this is just your personal opinion, you can answer it if you feel comfortable doing so. Do you think Donald Trump has switched gears, or he came into office lying about what he wanted to accomplish? Or is there something else we're missing?
I mean, look who he is. I mean, he was the guy on Burger King commercials in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know, he was the WWF guy. Me personally, I think he likes to trout himself. I mean, but
Yeah.
I mean, how much can you really do?
Yes, yes.
I mean, here's the question I'd be asking American people.
Yeah.
Trillions of dollars go through the United States, right?
Mhm.
In and out, whatever. I mean, how far are you really going to get when you're the president of the United States, when you've got trillions of dollars running around? There is nothing you can say or do.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had presidents in the past that have pretty much spoke about this little by little, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
The industrial complex, blah, blah. I mean, me personally, you try to step out of line, it's going to make you look like an idiot somehow. I mean, look at the technology we got nowadays. They could take your picture, Mike, put it up in front of the American people. If they don't like you, you know what? Oh, you know what, Mike's a thief.
Yeah.
He's a rapist. We got these videos. It's
Yeah.
not you, but we just made it look like you.
Yeah, the technology's there. Oh my goodness.
I mean, look at the crap that goes on nowadays.
Yeah. Good point, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you calling and bringing that new point to the conversation, because that's something I didn't even think about. So I'm assuming there's a couple more people out there with the same type of thoughts. So if you got thoughts that kind of make this look very suspicious, feel free to call in or let us know in the chat. So I appreciate you calling, my
By
friend.
the way, I think.
Yeah.
By the way, you played like football or baseball. You got to put some highlights on there, man.
Oh, I will. And so I've seen several comments about people wanting to see some game tape, so I'm gonna put it together. So it's out there. I just I just gotta make it user friendly for the channel. So I'm gonna put something together.
All right, copy that. You take care, buddy.
All right, be good. Thanks for the call. Good stuff, man. I appreciate that call. So yeah, that's another angle. You know, how do you not have some type of missile defense system up? You know, so maybe there was, who knows? But as he was talking, I looked up that tweet, and so I'm looking at the tweet now. It says, this is at 9:45 p.m. Twitter from iPhone says, all is well. Missiles launched from Iran at 2 military bases located in Iraq. Assessment of casualties and damages taking place now. So the leading nation, the strongest nation on the planet, supposedly, doesn't have a missile defense system up to stop anything, so there wouldn't be casualties. And I imagine, based upon the images I saw, the videos I saw, those rockets coming, any type of defense system hadn't had more than enough time. Those were not hypersonic, supersonic type missiles. You know, those were, looks like, you know, some ordinary, you know, missiles you could probably get off eBay. Yeah, I'm joking, but you get my point. It says, so far so good. We have the most powerful and well-equipped military anywhere in the world by far. That is a lie. I don't believe that whatsoever. Hopefully you don't buy into that we have the most powerful and well-equipped. Yeah, if you've been in alternative media space for any amount of time, you saw several articles saying how the U.S. we've had ships in that Middle Eastern region that the power was shut off. Like, there's some type of technology out there which cut off ships in the middle of them operating, which made ships crash into each other because they went off power. That's not just on some, we got the greatest equipment in the world. How did ships lose power and lose control of steering and stuff like that? That's probably because there's something out there they got hacked. So there's something out there stronger, obviously. Yeah, so I don't believe all this stuff. So got 33,000 likes and 90,000 tweets. So I'm wondering, out of all these people who tweeting this, are they tweeting this in the fact that they are believing this, or are they tweeting because, so it's 35,800 right now. So this thing is going viral. Like, whenever the President Trump's tweets is going viral, and it's full of hot air to me. It's just my opinion. It's one man's opinion. Take it for what it's worth to you. But are people retweeting this because they're promoting this and endorsing this, or they're retweeting this and because they know that this is something that's just, I mean, I don't know. Forgive me, I'm making light of the situation, but this is something that we should be concerned with for sure. And so, yeah, that's another thing. Shante said that poor Australia, 1 billion animal died in fire. So, yeah, I saw something about there's been a large amount of koala, I think koala bears or something like that was lost in the Australian outback. And so Tupac warned us about the evil government. And so New York Redneck says we got Phalanx guns, and Patriot missiles all on all bases. This is beyond fake and staged. It's used to divide and distract us. Why would they film firing them and send us the video? Another good point. Somebody was there with a camera, and that video hit the airways mighty fast, which lets me know that that person was probably called in. Hey, bring your cell phone and shoot this, and we're gonna tweet it out so it can go viral real quick. So more things to question. Lied to get to Afghanistan, killed Gaddafi in Libya. Says rather than Jews, rather Muslims in the U.S. Yeah. So it looks like there's more than enough people that don't really buy into the mainstream narrative this evening. Oops. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
No, this is Bobby from Atlanta, man. I appreciate your show, your platform, and I just want to say, just to chime in, that you got to have me thinking. I think that this whole situation seems a little off.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think our country's kind of been divided socially for the last couple of years, so just the idea of a war, even though people are kind of against it, kind of gives people a distraction to stop focusing on each other internally.
Yeah.
And it definitely did the same thing for Iran. You know, they were having their social issues. I think we're going to find out what's going on tomorrow morning, because if they didn't kill any of our soldiers in the strike,
Yeah.
and it was just a show of force just to appease their people, you got to remember something. Remember when Trump first got into office, he went to Syria and he bombed a Russian base, but he informed Russia before he bombed them. Remember that?
Yeah.
He
I think so.
called him up and he said, hey, I'm going to do this. And that's why nothing really sparked off. They just destroyed some equipment, but they didn't really, it didn't spark off a war.
Yeah.
Who's to say there aren't some back channels communicating that there's some people even within the Middle East that wanted that guy dead? You know what I mean? And I think the fact that he was even going to go and talk to the Saudis to try to, get Iran out of those sanctions, that's the main reason why he got hit. It's like the mafia. They're like, we cannot allow that power move, We're keeping the pressure on you.
Yeah.
We want to cut you off. The main thing that I'm thinking, though, that we're going to feel immediately, whether it's any, true provocation or not, is going to be, we're going to get hit the gas pump.
Ooh,
I hope it doesn't get to Bush level,
Yeah.
Gas prices, because that'll make you break up with girlfriends. You know what I mean? You'll be like, you know what I mean? Like, it's get to 350. You're going to really find out who's paying for stuff with credit cards and who really got, cash. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we get so caught up with the idea of the American dream that sometimes a lot of us don't keep it real, that we are one, layoff from a job, one, just domino effect of bad luck.
Yeah.
That everybody will start turning cannons on you and saying you need to pull your bootstraps up, you're not applied. But sometimes it's like me, you could do everything right and just have a partner who isn't disciplined and they run up $25,000 with a credit card debt. Or they decided to, like you said, they decide to buy into consumerism and don't think about alternative ways of saving. So I'm trying not to get scared into the new year, and I'm trying to look for voices of reason where people can, I'm more curious what other American citizens think, because let's look at it this way, and it's just like what our internal issues. Regardless of how you feel about Trump, nobody's going to get within 50 yards of him. But if we have 1 million Iranians here and say this thing does escalate, it could cause a problem where some of us feel it in unexpected ways. We already had mentally unstable people carrying out, mass shootings and stuff, making it kind of scary. I just think this is I feel like 2020 has the potential to be a prosperous year. I hope cooler heads can prevail and something positive can come out of it.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I feel like I'm watching a high school fight. You dare them to throw a punch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They threw something. Now you have a choice. You could just say, well, okay, no American. If there were no American casualties, and there was some kind of back channel thing going on, and this was just saber rattling, I would probably do some other sanctions. Maybe destroy some airstrips or something. Just do something to cripple their economy.
Yeah.
But as far as just all-out warfare, in a cynical sense, I think that let's say if there wasn't any back channel negotiation and he did just straight up kill this guy, because he was a threat, I think that was a provocation by some of the war hawks to get Iran to take the bait, which they kind of did. But the one thing that we have to think about is if we go there and level them, then our reputation around the world could get ruined where they look at us as the bully.
Oh,
you know
no.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
everyone start putting sanctions on us.
Yeah, and so here's the thing, like I don't believe that China and Russia will sit around and allow the US to take down the last country that's on their I keep wanting to say R, but that's not R. It's not necessarily something I want, but the last country
Right.
that's on the agenda to be taken out. Like everybody knows that there was, I think, a 7-country radius that the U.S. was
You're right.
supposed to bomb or take to war, cause internal conflicts so they can fight against each other, and Iran happens to be the last one. So I don't think China and Russia will sit around long. And as I mentioned before, if it gets to the point where the U.S. puts boots on the ground in Iran, remember China and Russia are allies of Iran, so they're not just going to sit there and watch the U.S. deliberately go through there to steal the oil ultimately
Right.
and keep the oil on the dollar and put in another puppet, so that they're not going to do that because that's going to mess up their plans.
I'm actually ex-military, and everything you're saying right there is totally true because I got out in around 2003. And let me tell you this, that plan that you're talking about, I kind of heard people talking about something like that similar.
Yeah.
And what the idea was if we went in there as liberators, right, with the narrative, we knew that Iran would have been the biggest problem. So what you were hoping was you could flip Iraq. Iraq would become an ally. You could possibly flip Syria. You could possibly flip all these countries, Afghanistan, that were surrounding Iran. So then we don't have to put our boots on the ground and lose soldiers. They would rise up against it, or you can just cause internal strife.
Yeah.
But it didn't work that way because I think the one thing that they didn't really think about, and I said it a long time ago to one of my college professors, I said, you cannot export democracy where you have, strict religious, you know what I'm saying, theocracy. Because it's like those people are more loyal to Allah, their interpretation of that, than they are to the state.
Yeah.
So it's like you're talking about, you have to do a whole other form of colonialism. But I won't get into that. But I think the main reason is not about the oil in Iran. It's about that intercontinental ballistic system that they're talking about. Like if we put bases in Iran, if we were to put bases like we already have in South Korea, the closer we get to the Soviet Union and the closer we get to China, that's the reason why they feel a threat, because we already can knock anything out of the sky pretty much except for those hypersonic missiles, so to speak. Who knows what we have, right?
Yeah.
Satellite wise that could disrupt it. But that's really what it boils down to, is mutual assured destruction. I know one day I heard a bunch of neocons talking about war and that we could whip Russia. And then I saw a video about the Satan too. And being that I have family in Texas, and they were like, you know what I'm saying? They can vaporize a lot of cities. It's just like sometimes who cares if you got 30 bullets and I got 15? If we get a chance to both let them off, and we can mortally wound each other. So that's what I'm saying. I think right now, unfortunately for the people in the Middle East, there probably will be lives lost because I don't think these people are going to let it go. Even if the government just did this as a show, you'll have some of these terrorist cells, like I said, maybe they can't get to Trump, but they'll get to us, which is scary.
Yeah.
I mean, our border is not as secure as we think it is, and you just better be nice the next time you go to your gas pump and talk to an Arab. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You better hope he's an Indian.
So
because if you go there talking crazy, you never know what could happen.
right, and so as you were mentioning, you started off talking about oil prices. I looked at an article that came out today at 6:05. It says oil prices soar as Iran fires missiles. So I'm looking at the what is this? Oilprice.com. And of course, Brent crude is up, OPEC basket is up, so everything is in the green. So things are going
I'm
up.
ready to
So
relinquish the floor. I appreciate it, but I'm gonna make one last point.
yeah, go ahead.
And because I was telling my girlfriend this earlier in the middle of the like say in the fall when Black Friday and all that stuff was going around, I said, remember those tariffs that they delayed that were supposed to hit in August?
Yeah.
I told her, I said, they're going to hit in January. Bobby, stop it. You just focus too much on politics. Okay. And then now that this happened, I said a couple of days, I said, when the guy got assassinated, I said, I hope this thing doesn't escalate because it'll hit us at the gas pump. And see, I've already been prepared for that.
Yeah.
So I know to cut back in certain areas because you still got to make it to your job.
Yeah.
But for people who have to make, a pretty long transit route back and forth to work, and then you have groceries and stuff going up. That's what I'm saying. It could cause some of these political fractions that we have
Yeah.
to cause more tension. It's just kind of a scary time, man. I hope
Yeah.
cooler heads prevail, and I'm gonna tune into the show.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Jamal. Thank you for calling, my friend. Thanks that.
So,
Yeah, good stuff there, man. I appreciate that call. So, yeah. So it looks like from the people that called in from the chat, not too many people are buying into the fact that they just happened to send some missiles and then President Trump tweeted, all is well, no big deal. We're assessing damage now. And so I'm thinking, like, for a president that yesterday and the day before that was very adamant in saying that we will retaliate if Iran does anything, they do we're gonna be ready, full steam ahead. Now all of a sudden, apparently, there was some missiles sitting in the air. His tweet response was calm, cool, collective. I would have anticipate all that big talk 2 days ago. That initial text would have been, "Here we go, we coming," type of thing. That's how cocky and confident he portrays himself to be. But to come out with that, it's all as well, and yeah. It's unfortunate that Washington, D.C., all those politicians, the president, they won't be stepping foot on a battlefield. But yet it's so easy to talk big and bad when you got a Twitter account in the Oval Office and you're sending innocent, uninformed individuals that don't really know that they're not really fighting a war against terror. They're not really fighting a war for anything to do with our true freedoms and liberties, in my personal opinion. But yet they're being sent over just because, man, they've been told, taught, and trained to obey orders because that's their job. Some are patriots, some believe that they're fighting a good cause. But I've noticed that more people, after they get out of the military, they realize that everything they were taught and fought and everything they thought, all that stuff, especially everyone that's been in Afghanistan and they guarding the poppy seeds, you guarding the fields for the drug lords. All right, so yeah, I just I'm concerned for that because if the people who are in the armed forces decide to say, hey, you know what, this is not a fight, this is not our fight, we're not fighting to protect our coast, we're fighting to get through somebody else's agenda. I'm not doing this. And so if the military force, if the men and women in the armed forces stood up and say, you know what, this ain't for me. I'm not risking my life for, my wife and my children at home to get some type of benefits and a red flag or some type of flag in my honor. No, so that's just me personally. So I'm gonna leave it alone. But that being the case, I want to check in tonight, get your guys' thoughts on what we got going on. Is this real? Is it not? And it looks like just overall consensus that this is a bunch of misleading information that's a much greater story. And it is now 8 a.m. in Iraq. So it's good to say, once we all lay down and close our eyes and we wake up, when we wake up, and however long, wherever you're located on this planet, we could be in a whole new, different world as far as what Trump has tweeted or what Iran or whoever else has done, and God forbid there's nothing that happens here in his homeland. And so this is a serious time where for all my believers out there, we need to pray. We always should pray, but pray seriously now more than ever because this right here is not a good way to shape this, enter into a new decade, personally, in my opinion. But with that being the case, I'm going to dial back this evening. I appreciate everybody for hanging out with me this evening. As always, if you've enjoyed the back and forth, don't be afraid to donate a thumbs up to the channel. Check in the description for any information, all the free stuff that's come through this channel. And on a good note, I'm still excited about the fact that I have another channel, Giftpreneur. So go up above, type in Giftpreneur, all one word. Connect with me over there on YouTube. I'm excited to talk about what really matters most to me, and it happens to be empowering and encouraging people to unbox themselves through not being dependent solely upon employment, thinking about other ways to get other things done, your contribution, and all those things like that. So if you're interested in things like that, and I'm about to come out real quick. I can actually say this because I'm about to start really saying this on that channel. I'm going to talk about my beliefs in the fact that we all bought into the lie of the American dream. We all bought into the fact that we were told that if you go to school, get a good job, climb the corporate ladder and achieve success more than likely as an employee, that at the end of that 30, 40 year time frame, there will be a ribbon that says, well done, retire happily. But I'm more than confident that this decade, there will not be a peaceful retirement for any single person who's currently retired or actually think they're going to retire, because the system isn't designed for you to enjoy your life in that magnitude, because our monetary system will make sure of that because of too much debt. Having a debt-based system means that you can't enjoy your retirement the way that you thought you could, because everything that you've done, more than likely, you've given over the rights of your currency, your financial future, to a stranger, and that person is supposed to be operating in your best interest. When in actuality, he's doing it for commissions, and he's putting it in things that are these government bonds, which are really junk, and then they put it in an overly inflated stock market that's about to be purchased by central banks, which means that there's no true value in those stocks if they just print money to buy them. So basically what I'm getting at is, if you're waiting and you're thinking you're retiring, you're not. So what are you going to do? If you knew you weren't going to retire, what would you do now differently if you knew 10, 20, 30 years from now that whatever you're setting aside wasn't going to be there? I'm assuming you do something different. And that's what I'm trying to encourage people to do right now. So enough of me ranting. If you're interested, type in Giftpreneur in the chat. Connect with me there via podcast. I got 3 great podcasts up. I got another one dropping tomorrow. Excited to. That's what excites me. All this stuff is just a problem, but what excites me is the fact I get to share my faith and share that information. So I'm done ranting. Forgive me. I just had to get that out. But anyway, be blessed, be safe. See you guys later. And let's pray that we wake up tomorrow and that the Lord, His will is done. Let's pray for our leadership here, because we need to pray that God's will be done. And we may not understand it, but yet I pray that His will be done in our lives, because we need it to be done. So anyway, be blessed, be safe. I'm shutting my mouth.